Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live with CDP Sports Talk on this Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, Season 4, Episode 46, and my 211th episode of all time. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. His name is Kurleigh Gittens Jr. He's a wide receiver with the Toronto Argonauts, and he's also up for Most Outstanding Canadian Player in the CFL, and he's also an alumni of the Laurier Golden Hawks. So just bear with me, and hopefully Kurleigh Gittens Jr. will be here shortly as well. I apologize for the technical difficulty there with my opening intro. And guys, I'm still under the weather. It's been 2 weeks now, and I'm hoping I'll feel better by this weekend. Cross your fingers. But anyways, guys, like I do with all my podcast shows, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Please check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call, 519-824-0210, and tell them CDP Chris Palme sent you as well. And also, guys, the all-electric Cadillac Lyriq and the all-electric Silverado are now available for pre-orders at the dealership. So either check out barrycullen.com or give them a call, 519-824-0210. Anyways, guys, just bear with me 1 minute, and I'm going to bring on Kurleigh Gittens Jr., the star receiver for the CFL's Toronto Argonauts. Hey, Kurleigh, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for doing this today, for coming on.
Oh, no worries. My pleasure.
So how's the week been going?
It's good. Relaxing. You know, it was a well-needed break after a long regular season.
I'm glad you guys have a bye week, because if the game was this weekend, I don't know if I would have been able to make it, because I've been fighting a cold and a bug for the last week and a half. So I'm glad that game is not until November 13th.
Yeah, no, that's good. How you feeling though? Good?
I'm getting better. I'm not 100% yet, but it's just taking a little bit of time. Like I said, I picked up a bug, and it's just taking a little bit of time and stuff like that. But thankfully, I have my podcast show, and I can do stuff on the computer now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for you.
So, well, when do you guys go back to work? When do you guys go back to practice and preparing for the East Final?
We report back tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, yes.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, do you have any preference on who you play, or just get yourself prepared for whoever comes out of that matchup?
Me personally, no, I don't really care who we play. I know we'll be ready regardless of who we play. So.
Regardless, you're right. It's going to be a quality opponent, and hopefully they'll have a really good crowd at BMO Field. I'm taking my nephew, who's 25 years old, to his first ever CFL game. He's always gone to NFL games, but I told him to come down and check out an Argos game with me, and he's going to come with me on the 13th.
Yeah, no, definitely. It'll be a fun atmosphere for sure. You know, we should have a pretty good crowd, you know, since it's the East Final. But I'm excited. I'm sure he's gonna love it too.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, this will be my 5th game of the year. This will be my first ever Argos playoff game in Toronto. So this will be a first for me. And there's nothing like playoff football.
Yeah, I had a little taste of it last year, so I agree with you.
Hey, speaking of that, I know you played with the Laurier Golden Hawks from 2015, 2018. Have you been following them this season and their matchup with Western this Saturday?
100%. I follow every single game. You know, if I can watch it, I'll watch it. If not, then I'll just check the score after. I'll message my head coach. I'll be like, my old head coach. I'll be like, good luck. But I was actually at a practice yesterday, and I spoke to the guys. I kind of gave them a few positive words on how to prepare for a big opponent like Western. Um, but no, those guys are ready. Those guys are ready. They're having a great work week, and I think they'll pull it off. Western's undefeated, but Laurier, we got a bunch of young and hardworking. They believe in each other, and that's the most important thing.
Does this team remind you of the 2016 Golden Hawks team that won the Yates Cup and came back from a 24-point deficit against Western in London?
Um, there's some similarities there because I was in my second year in university, and they're like stars. They're in their second year as well too. So like you can see the similarities. Obviously coached by the same coach. He's been in that position before. So like he has way more experience now than he did previously with us. So I would say they're probably more prepared because of the leadership group. But yeah, I definitely I see some similarities. Obviously, I'm not there. A few of the other guys aren't there, but they got some ballers on that team for sure. So I'm excited.
And this year I ended up doing camera work for Griff Vision for the University of Guelph. And I have to admit, it's been a while since I've followed the OAU football. And I was impressed with the quality, the caliber of play of it. And I'm looking forward next year to doing more camera work with the University of Guelph. And hopefully that program will be a lot more improved than they were this year.
Oh yeah, Guelph is usually a good team for sure. Well, especially when I was playing in the OUA. They were always atop of the standings and whatnot. They had really good players. They were very competitive. But yeah, this year was a little weird, you'd say. But yeah.
I was going to say thoughts on Jake Reinhardt. Speaking of the Guelph Griffins, thoughts on Jake Reinhardt as an Argonaut and your time dealing with him.
Jake, I was with Jake since 2019 because that was my first year in the CFL. But he's honestly an outstanding guy. He's a great person. I've gotten to know him better and better each year. He has a beautiful family. We do a lot of family things together with the Argos, dads and whatnot. But everybody's invited. So he's honestly just such a great guy. He's hardworking, and for a guy to be around for that long, consistently with the same team, hats off to him because you don't see that often, right? So.
I was going to say I grew up being an Argos fan since the 70s, early 80s, and I was lucky back then. I got Conrad Holloway, Terry Greer, Cedric Mentor, Don Moan, Paul Pearson. I'm just hoping this core team will be around for a while, such as yourself. And one of my other favorite Argos now is AJ Olette and McLeod Bethel Thompson. I was one of his critics, and I was completely wrong. And this gentleman has proven himself to be an elite quarterback in the CFL.
100%. Yeah, the plan is, to keep our guys together and just to kind of, build on something special that we got. And yeah, like you said, Mac's been my guy since I came in this league, and I got nothing but respect for him. I love his work ethic. I love playing for him. This guy, like, I'll go to war with this guy. You know what I mean? That's how much he means to me, and that's how much he means to our team. So there's just not enough good things I can say about him because he's that dude to me.
I have to ask you this. How long did it take you when you came in as a rookie in 2019 to develop chemistry with Thompson?
Honestly, believe it or not, it actually didn't take too long. So, in 2019, I wasn't seeing many live reps in games, obviously, because our receiving core was stacked like all across the board. So it was just pretty much waiting my time. But in practice, when some of the guys couldn't go or whatnot, I'd step in, and then me, Mac, would just like click. And ever since then, and then I knew from that moment it was just like if he was still with us, like we were I had a feeling that like our connection was always there from since practice in 2019. So.
I just had to ask. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna finish by saying it just kept growing.
Yeah, because sometimes it depends on the quarterback and the player. It sometimes can take a longer time. So that's why I wanted to ask you about that. And you guys have an outstanding receiving core with the Argonauts as well, with Daniels and Ambers and Speedy Bank. And I was going to say, S.J. Green, was his last year in 2019 with the Argonauts?
Yeah. So my first year was his last year. I think he wanted to come back for the 2020 year, but we all know COVID happened and whatnot. So 2 weeks ago he retired as an Alouette. But yeah, 2019 ended up being his last year with the Argos, well in the CFLs as well.
Did he mentor you a little bit when he was there in 2019 and or give you guys some advice to younger receivers?
Oh no, he definitely mentored me. It was him, Darrell Walker, Amarni Edwards, Rodney Smith, and then we had Jimmy Ralph, Levi Noel, Alex Charette. Those guys really helped me out. You know what I mean? SJ, he was the one that if something was up with him, if he was feeling 100% and whatnot, he'd say like Curly, go take my reps, and then I'd go in and that's how I was able to kind of showcase my skills. Um, you know, anything I needed, like if I needed to just talk about life, whatever, he'd always, he'd be able to kind of give me some guidance. Um, but yeah, he was always there for me, and I got a lot of respect for him. You know what I mean? His play on the field and the person that he is. Same as Darrell Walker as well too. He was one of those guys that kind of helped me out. Help keep me staying positive. Because obviously coming in you want to play and whatnot, but there are always patience. Your turn's gonna come. Just you know stay true to the process, and everything ended up working out well so far.
I have to ask you this as well. Number 19, is that the reason why you took 19, or was there another story behind that?
No, honestly, no, no. It wasn't the reason why I took 19. The first time I ever wore the number 19 was my first year at university. I wanted number 10, but somebody was wearing number 10 at the moment. And then my head coach, he was like, the best number we got available right now is number 19. And I was a little down on it, to be honest, because it wasn't my number. But then he was like, "Man, you can really you make this your own number." And then from then, I kept wearing number 19, and yeah, here we are now.
That's awesome, and that's my favorite number 19 because of Steve Eisenman, who played for the Red Wings, is now the general manager. And sometimes fans can identify, like, hey, with the Argos, number 7, Conrad Charloway, number 10, Terry Greer, Penball Clements, number 31. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you because sometimes there's a story behind an athlete taking a certain number.
No, it was just for me. It was just at the moment it was the best number available, and then I took it and ran away with it. And ever since I've loved the number 19, and everywhere I go I want the number 19. If I make a character in Madden, he's wearing number 19. So so
Yeah,
yeah.
just like Aaron. Yeah, just like Aaron Judge with the Yankees when he came up with the Yankees, they gave him 99. He didn't originally want that number, but I guess he started becoming good with that number, and now he's kept that number 99, which is a pretty cool number too.
Yeah, I know. I like number 99.
Yes, anything with 9 in it, I like. 9 for Gordie Howe, 19 for Steve Eiserman, and now yourself. Hey, I was going to ask you, how hard was that pandemic year with no CFL football, and how did you and the other guys keep you guys self motivated and keep yourself physically fit and all that, get to be prepared for the 2021 season?
I would say it was hard, both mentally and both physically, just because I'll start with mentally first, just because me and my girlfriend, she had just gave birth to her first child, well, our only child so far. So then it was like football wasn't happening, so like now we got to find ways to provide. So now I have to really go work, and then also working, but also staying on top of my training as well. But I just, for me, 2019, my rookie year, I felt like still had something to prove to myself and to everyone else. So for me, that my motivation was just always there. So I'd always find ways to work out, to train, because I know some people might take the pandemic year as just kind of like a year, just relax and rest up. For me, I took it as a year where I can get my body back. I can get ahead of the game, and that's exactly what I did. I just put my head down. I did what I needed to do. I took care of my responsibilities and just trusted God and trusted His plan for my future, and just did the little things that can help me day to day. So that's getting up, going to work, after work, training, and then taking care of my family, and just doing those things consistently and building a good routine, and just really got me through it. And I was able to showcase all my hard work that I've been putting in for the last how many years, last year as well too. So yeah, I just stayed true to who I was. I never forgot why I was doing this, and I just trusted God, and I trusted the plans He had for me, and just worked, and everything else just kind of worked out.
Congratulations on the birth of your first child. Now, what was it like getting back on that practice field for the first time after the pandemic?
It felt like a blessing, to be honest with you. Like, can't really describe how it felt, just because it was so long, before any of us had stepped on the football field, like for real. It felt like, I don't know, it was like a dream come true. You know what I mean? Like, we're back playing football again. You know what I mean? We're back doing what we love. And there was just some nerves there for sure. You know what I mean? 'Cause I haven't, played professionally in a while, right? And everybody's hungry. You know what I mean? So it was some nerves, but it also felt like it was a blessing. It was a dream come true again. And I was excited, and I was happy. I was in my happy place, and I couldn't wait to get started.
I was gonna say I've learned to appreciate doing things more, like my camera work and doing sporting events, more than I did before, because when something's taken away from you, you learn to appreciate it even more.
Well said, exactly. Because for that, what, a year and a little bit, football was taken away from all of us, and it was like, how are you going to respond? Of course. So for me, I just kept my mind positive, thinking, okay, we're gonna have football. We're gonna be playing football again soon. So how can I stay ready, right, without like having to get ready when football's back? And for me, like I told you before, it was just, what I mean, like, my goal was in my mind, and I had all of my motivational, and that just motivated me every single day, even the days I didn't want to wake up and go to work, or wake up and then work and then go to train. It just kept me grounded. My daughter kept me grounded, and yeah, it was just, when football came back, it was just kind of like, okay, here we go. We're ready.
And being a parent too is a full-time job itself.
100%, 100%. It is. It was, and we're fairly young parents too, so we were kind of learning life, as we're still learning life, and also bringing another child into this world. So we're kind of just like learning as we're going, which is great as well too, right? We learn more about ourselves, and we can be the best parents we can be for our kid.
Absolutely. Now, are you still okay for a few more questions? Are you
You're
okay for
good.
a few more? Okay, I just wanted to check with you. This one I wanted to ask you. What were your thoughts on being drafted by the Argonauts in the 2019 CFL draft, third round, 23rd overall from Laurier, and just thoughts, and who called you and said the Argonauts had picked you and all that?
um, so yeah, so now that whole process was just a crazy process. Obviously, my first time going through that process, and well, the biggest thing for me coming out of university was my size, and people thinking, I wasn't big enough or whatever. So, but that didn't really stop me from doing what I did at Laurier. So for me, I went into the combine, you know, thinking I needed to show these guys, my size isn't a factor. So I kind of dedicated pretty much my whole combine training, not the whole, but like majority of my combine training, to kind of like the bench press, and showing these guys, well, I'm strong enough. So I ended up putting up 9 reps on the 225. I ran a decent 40 time, but that doesn't really showcase how my speed is on the field. It was okay. And then my vertical was mediocre, I guess. So yeah, the cone drills was all right. Then the one-on-ones where the football, where they see us do one-on-ones against the DBs and stuff, that was solid. Um, so overall, I thought I did okay. Um, I didn't think I was gonna drop to the third round, 23rd overall pick, but God's plans is bigger than what you think. Um, so for me, um, I thought I was gonna go earlier. I feel like everybody thought they were gonna go earlier. You know what I mean? So for me, so the first round went by. The second round went by. I was like, okay, well, at this point, like, I don't really care where I go. It's just like let me just know where I'm going. And then I was actually outside. I don't know I think. Yeah, the first two rounds went by, so I stopped, not stopped watching, but I went outside to take a break because, obviously you have family there, and at that point you feel like you feel disappointed in yourself and all the work you put in your 4 years of university at the combine. You feel disappointed. You feel like you kind of let your family down and stuff. So I went outside and took a little just a break. Kind of just recoup my mind, just get my mind back in positive mindset. And um, I got a call, and then my girlfriend's friend brought it out to me, and then Vince was on the phone, and then Vince was like, um, "We're we're calling you to tell you we're drafting you with our 23rd overall pick." And at that moment, I was like, "Okay, well, appreciate it, and let's get to work." There was a lot of emotions when I got the call. Just like there was like like the frustration emotions. You're excited. You're thankful. All that mixed in one. So it was an exciting moment. I felt like I still had something to prove. Um, but yeah, I feel like as a football player, you always feel like you have something to prove because there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be doubters. There's always going to be people who think you can't do this, who think you shouldn't be here, and you just got to keep going at that point. And for me, I just dedicated myself from that moment. I'm going to try to be the best football player that I can be, and let everything else work out itself. So that's pretty much my whole process.
And look at I can name so many players. Look at Tom Brady, sixth round, 199th overall. He still to this day uses he uses that as a chip on his shoulders to prove all the naysayers wrong as well. Oh, even 23 years later.
100%. Like that's what I mean. So it's like for me, it's like as much as we want to go first overall, second overall, first round, second round, sometimes the plan isn't for you to go that high. You know what I mean? So I just stayed motivated, and just thought instead of trying to prove these guys wrong, I'm gonna prove myself right. You know what I mean? And that's just the way I've had my mindset the whole time, and I'm gonna keep going the same way every single year. I'm gonna, think back at that moment, think back on who I am right now, and just, keep myself motivated and keep myself going. Because at the end of the day, like I said, there's always gonna be doubters, and then just gotta find a way just to stay motivated and keep going.
And that's what's happening with me. I'm trying to switch careers in the radio at 50, and I've been told, "Oh, you don't have the degree, you don't have this, you don't have that." But you know what? I have life experience, I have life skills, and I've been lucky to get a lot of great guests such as yourself on, and other guys from the Argonauts as well.
And I gotta give you a shout out too, because you're smooth with this too. You know what I mean? There's hasn't been like a hiccup in the sense where it's like it's awkward silence. It's like just smooth. It's fluent, and that's good on you. So, and like you said, like in life, people are really just gonna doubt you, maybe because they don't want to see you succeed, or they can know you can succeed but don't want you to succeed. But you just don't listen to them. You do what you do what your heart wants, and you're doing it right now. So congrats to you.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm just trying to prove too, age is just a number. Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you can't do something. And even at my age of 50, I'm still competitive, and I just have to keep grinding away at this. It's like a football player or an athlete. You just have to keep working daily to keep getting better and to keep improving.
100%. Well said. That's what it is. So no matter what you do, what I mean, there's always gonna be somebody there. So, and
And
yeah,
I was
no,
gonna say, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm good.
I was going to say I'm very lucky because my late father got me into the Argonauts, and I wish he was around to see me being able to talk to players like yourself and Mike Hogan and Chris Belnovich has been great, and the team has been so great about what I'm trying to do and accomplish, and I'm very lucky.
No, yeah, no, we're thankful for you as well too. For yourself, you're trying to kind of get more exposure to the CFL by having players like myself, Mike Hogan, those guys, give exposure to the CFL, which we need, right? So having more like talk show hosts like you know what I mean, it just helps grow the game, you know what I mean, which we need, because we're just as talented as those guys playing down south. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've been to a number of NFL games. I like the NFL, but you know what? I like the CFL, and I like the wider and longer fields. And there's things about the CFL are great, and people should just appreciate it for what it is, and instead of trying to compare it to the NFL.
100%, there's just you know every player in each league, there's going to be there's going to be the top dogs, there's going to be the middle pack dogs, and there's going to be, the bottom dogs. But that's life, you know what I mean? So every league's got its own perks. You know what I mean? That's just the way life is, and you just got to accept it for what it is.
Before I get to the next question, thoughts on Mike Pinball Clements? Obviously, he was a Hall of Fame player, one of the greatest all-time Argonauts of all time. But just quick thoughts on Mike Pinball Clements as a person.
Um, I honestly I got nothing negative to say about him because he's just been all positive around me. You know what I mean? He's just an outstanding guy. A very positive, very happy guy. I've never seen him upset or angry. You know what I mean? So this is going back to my first year in the CFL too. I think I was returning a few kicks, and he just, he came up to me. He really liked the way I worked. He really liked the way I just ran the ball, and he was very positive with me. He'd always give me tips and things I can look out for and whatnot. And he wasn't technically part of the team then. He was just kind of like in and out. But for him to do that, go out of his way to, give me those tips was, meant a lot. And the fact that a year later he's a GM, awesome. So for me, he's a big family guy. He's a big positivity guy. I always see him smiling. I always see him happy. One thing I took away from him was just his positive mindset on just life. You know what I mean? Just always staying positive. Some of the things we were talking about before, just just staying positive. You would never know this guy's having a bad day, and I feel like that's the way I kind of train myself to be. You know what I mean? Just always be a positive guy and saying, just doing those little things, just to saying hi to somebody, or replying to somebody's message, or whatever, something that can make somebody's day that you don't know what they're going through. So yeah, well, that's the one thing I took away from just try to stay positive, whatever with anything in life.
And doing this career change 2.5 years ago has changed my life, and I find I'm more of a happier, positive person. And this is something I have a passion for. And what you said, I can't disagree with you at all. And the world, there's so much negativity. We need more people like Mike Pinball Clements.
100%, 100%. Because like I said, you don't know what someone's going through. Obviously, they don't know what you're going through, but if you got that positive, that smile on your face, maybe they put a little smile on their face, makes them smile, right? So it was just that's something I really try to do every single day. If I'm out, just like saying hi or holding the door for somebody, just the little things that they might be thankful for. So.
And that's another reason I love the CFL and the Argonauts is because you can approach the players, you can approach the coaches and the management side. NFL teams are not so easy to do, but
Yeah.
you guys are so approachable. And like I said, I really appreciate you coming on today. Are you okay for a couple more minutes, couple more questions?
You're good. I'm here.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I worry a little too much. That's one of my things I'm going to work on. But
You're good.
This question I have to ask you, Kurleigh. How much of an adjustment was it going from OUA football with the Laurier Golden Hawks to the professional level with the Toronto Argonauts? And did you have anybody that mentored you right away when you came with the Argonauts?
It was definitely a big adjustment. Just the speed of the game. Everybody's good at this level, right? Everybody's a pro. This is their job. This is something like we all need. This is what we feed our families with. So you gotta like. It was just an adjustment from that standpoint. It was just like, what, this really is a job. It's obviously your dream job. It's fun because it's you don't really think about it as a job, but the way you approach it's got to be a job. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to put in your hours in order to succeed at your job, right? So it's just the change, the change of pace, the speed of the game, your approach to the game, all of that was just totally different. But when you're around a lot of great leaders like I was, and Mac was there, Darrell Walker, S.J. Green, all the receiving core. Those guys were great leaders, and it allowed me to kind of learn from them and see how they approach the game. And that allowed me to kind of like build my own routine on how I wanted to approach the professional level of the game. And I was always willing to, get criticized, learn, because in life we need to learn in order to get better. And but the speed of the game was all about just experience, getting reps at it, and watching more film, right? Taking criticism, taking what those guys were saying in the meeting room, and incorporating it into on the field. And I was willing to do that. And like I said, it just all started with the great leaders we had in that locker room in 2019.
I was going to say right now, who are some of your leaders on this 2022 Argonaut team besides McLeod, Bessel, Thompson?
We got great leaders, honestly. Like I feel like our whole team is, but if I can name a few on offense, the Varsi's he's a great leader. He's one of those. I wouldn't say he's like he's fairly young, but like he's been in the CFL for a little bit, and he's just a true professional, right? Comes in, I've never seen that guy mad. I've been with him for 2 years. I haven't seen him mad. I love just joking around with him, cracking jokes, whatever. But he's down to earth. He's cool. It's work ethic too. Is just the way he approaches the game is is dope. Marquis, he's dope as well too. I love him as my teammate. He'll always keep it real with you. We got Speedy. He's been around the CFL forever. I'm just kidding, but Speedy's. He's one of those guys. He's really approachable, and he's really like one of those guys who's supportive, and when it's time to make a play, you know what I mean. Like he's really he wants to make the play, and he pushes you to make that play. And who else we got on offense? We have Eric Rogers as well too. Known him for 2 years as well too. He's one of those guys who's a true professional. It's just like I said, you can go to him for whatever, personal advice, on-field advice, just like maybe you just need somebody to talk to, whatever. He's one of those guys you can go to. We have who else we got on offense? We have Andrew Harris as well too. Obviously, you probably know him. He's he's a CFL legend, but he's down to earth. His work ethic every single day, especially at his age. It's unreal. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys who lead by example, but he's also really he's a good leader as well too. So following those guys, it just makes me a better player as well too. And our defense as a whole, those guys are just a bunch of just
ball hawking guys.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They lead by example. Got great leaders. Enoch is a great leader back there. Oak's an amazing leader, actually. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys, when he speaks, everybody's got to listen, So I'm just surrounded by a whole bunch of great leaders that just makes you want to be better, be a better person, be a better football player. So I'm really just, blessed with the team I got.
Fingers crossed, Andrew Harris can come back too, because having him in that backfield with AJ Ouellette would be great. And one thing I've learned about Andrew Harris, not just being a Hall of Fame running back, his blocking ability as well would be huge for the Argos if he can come back for the East Final.
Say that again. Sorry.
I was gonna say if Andrew Harris is able to come back for the East Final, how huge of an impact would that be for your offense, especially with his ability to block as well as run along with AJ Ouellette?
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. Because you want to know something? Because it'd be like this. They always say there's thunder and lightning,
Yeah.
but well, those two guys will just be thunder and thunder, and I don't know if you can stop that. You know what I mean? So no, definitely. If Andrew is able to come back and whatnot, man, he's gonna be like that. He's gonna bring our offense that much, make our offense that much better. You know what I mean? AJ is a monster. He's a beast. This guy is just he don't care what's in front of him. He's just gonna run through it, or might just run around you or jump over you. Same with Andrew. He might run over you, run around you, or jump over you. Those guys are awesome. If you have those two guys, man, with Mac and the receiving core we got and the way our O line's playing, we're definitely gonna be feeling good about ourselves.
Yeah, Andrew and AJ are old school type football players. They power backs, and that's what I kind of love. And in the playoffs too, you don't want to be one dimensional as an offense. You want to be able to run the ball as well as pass. Obviously, as a receiver, you want to get the ball, but just to make the team even tougher to beat, having a two-dimensional offense, especially with that having Harris, if he's able to come back, just another weapon for you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, like you said it. Just um, especially his playoff and playoff weather and whatnot. Being able to run the ball, and both of those guys can have great hands as running backs. You know what I mean? So they're even a threat, like with the ball in their hands, or they can go up for a passing concept and being able to catch it. And Mac trusts both those guys too. So I feel like it's a win-win situation. So
Before I get into quickly, Chad Kelly, I have an Argo super fan that just posted a comment. Lori Bercier. She just wanted to say the accolades and highlights keep coming. 1,100-yard season, player award finalist for the top Canadian Eastern Division All Star. You definitely have been a bright light. Nice next step, hopefully, is hoisting the Grey Cup. And Lori's one of the nicest people I've met, and I consider her an Argo family member.
oh no, yeah, I've met her a few times. She actually got on my jersey, so yeah, I know Lori. Yeah, she's real supportive, um, and she loves the game of football and she loves the Argos. So we can't, we're thankful for her and grateful for her.
Yeah, and I've been lucky. I've met a lot of great people on here, and I even have my own Argo Balance Weekly audio show with one of the Argo super fans, Nick Small, every Tuesday on Twitter as well, and he does a great job. And I think Nick went to Laurier as well, and he's, I think, the same age as you, and he's so passionate about the CFL and the Argonauts, and I think we do well on our show because I'm old school with the '70s and '80s, and he's more into the newer generation of Argonauts.
No, yeah, I think I met Nick as well too. I think I gave him my gloves when I was in university when we played McMaster because he does live in Hamilton, right?
I think he lives in Mississauga, Clarkson,
Saga.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I met Nick before though. He's a good guy.
Okay. Do you remember your first CFL game? And we already answered the number you wore. First CFL game and your first CFL reception and touchdown pass.
Yeah, my first year. So I was on practice roster for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and that's obviously something you don't want to be on. You know, especially if you want to play, right? But my first CFL game was against BC in Toronto. Um, I think we lost by a point. We lost by a point, and I was only on punt return that game. I was only on punt return that game, but Chris Rainey also ran back a punt return touchdown, so it's pretty cool. I was blocking for him out there. So, and my first CFL reception. So my first CFL reception came against actually BC again, but in BC a few weeks later. Mac threw it to me as well. It was like a 10-yard pass, whatever. Yeah, that was my first CFL catch. And then my first touchdown pass was 2021 last year, first game of the year in the fourth quarter against Calgary. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Hey, I was going to say, did you keep that football from your first touchdown pass? And
Oh,
also, sorry?
No, I did indeed. Yeah, I did indeed. Yeah,
Did you?
did
Okay.
indeed.
Now, do you have any rituals or any music that you like to listen to before a game, at home or on the road?
No rituals, whatever. But for me, it's just kind of like based on like how I'm feeling that day. I go through a whole different styles of music that I listen to. So I listen to like dance, so I listen to hip hop, rap, some Afro beats, like just a little bit of everything, old school, just so I can get my mind right. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just nothing crazy that I do, but it's more just being in the right mindset and just being thankful for where I'm at every single game.
I like what they do at BMO Field. They play a combination. I don't know who the DJ is at BMO Field, but I do love the music selection, and I really like the game day presentations for you guys at BMO Field.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I feel like honestly, besides like um, I know we don't like get like the crazy amount of fans like these other stadiums do, but our fans are like super loud, and we appreciate the heck out of that. You know what I mean? But I think BMO, we got the best stadium in the CFL, if in my opinion. So it's just like a wonderful app, just wonderful like place all around it. You got the lake right there, and like it's just a really good. It's in a really good spot, and it just.
What's that field surface like? Obviously, it's the only grass field now in the CFL. Obviously, how much of a difference does that make as a football player playing on grass instead of the turf?
Um, I like the grass. It's just easier to kind of. It feels good. It feels good on the legs. It feels easy when you're running and whatnot. Um, but I like turf as well too. So, but I do prefer the grass.
And I was gonna say the turf back in the 70s and 80s, I don't think you would have liked it. It was like
Yeah,
basically green carpet painted, and and it's hard to believe it's 40 years ago now that the 82 Grey Cup was in Toronto at
yeah,
Exhibition Stadium, which is just right near where BMO Field is. And they said we'd never ever have a stadium here again. We'll never have grass field again. And then 40 years later, they've got a stadium right on the same site and grass field again. And what a difference BMO Field has made.
yeah. I didn't know that, but like that's crazy though.
Absolutely. And that old exhibition stadium, you would get fog games, mud games. There was a lot of unusual weather there. You guys have been pretty lucky since you've been at BMO Phil. There hasn't been too many weather games there.
Yeah, no, we've been super blessed. We just keep it that way, and we'll be all right.
And there's not as many seagulls at BMO Field as there was at Exhibition Stadium.
Mm.
So
Really?
absolutely. Oh yeah. There was a lot of seagulls there every game for the Blue Jays and the Argonauts. And I know one baseball player, Dave Winfield, got arrested in 1983 for throwing a ball at a seagull and killing it. And they
Wow.
actually arrested him, and he got off and whatever, but they arrested him for cruelty to animals and stuff like that. But they've really done a great job with BMO Field and stuff like that. Are you okay for a couple more minutes? Couple quick questions?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, no problem. I wanted to ask you, what are your overall thoughts on this 2022 Argonauts season, and just being named the most outstanding Canadian, and having your first 1,000 receiving yards in the CFL for the first time?
Um, I'll start with the our season. I feel like our season went good. Since we got the first round bye, that was the first goal. So we accomplished that. But throughout the season, there's always ups and downs in football. You might lose one or two, you might go on a little hot streak, and the hardest thing is just stay hot when you're hot, and the hard and the counter that is like when you're losing a few, it's kind of hard to get back to the win column. So it's like we appreciate every single step that we went through in this past season. So we just there's a lot of lessons that we learned, and I feel like by the end of it, right now we've been a much better team we are now than how from when we started. So and that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean? Just to be better than when you started. So I feel like and this is a new season I just started too with playoffs. So right now it's whatever you done in the regular season, it's out the window, and everybody, it's 0-0 at this point. You win, you move on, and so yeah, that's my thoughts on our 2022 season.
And this is the first time since 96, 97, the Argonauts have won back-to-back Eastern Division regular season championships. And this is really nice to have the East Final at BMO Field for the second consecutive year and third time, I believe, in 6 years or 5 years.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. I was born in 1997.
Same year as my nephew. He was born in
Yeah.
1997 as well, and same with Nick Small. So I'm really one of the old time guys. But like I said, I love the CFL, and like I said, I'm looking forward to this East Final as well. Hey, I was gonna what I was gonna say. The last time the Argonauts beat the Hamilton in the East Final, if you guys play Hamilton, either way, it's going to be tough. Hamilton, Montreal, 1983. So if it is Hamilton, that streak of has to end against Hamilton, and if it's Montreal, it's going to be tough as well. So either way, it's going to be a great game against either one of those teams.
And yeah, you said being named the most outstanding Canadian.
Yes.
It's always good to be recognized. Especially for your hard work and stuff. But this just reflects on the receivers we got in the receiving core, and the quarterbacks we got in the room, and the running backs we got in the room, and the whole offense. This reflects on the whole offense, as in, like, without those guys, none of this would have been possible. So I'm just thankful for the group we got, and for those guys helping me become, the player that I am. And I just try to go each and every game and give these guys my best, and I'm just thankful for those guys. And without them, that 1,000 yards isn't possible. The most outstanding Canadians isn't possible. So it just shows for the group of guys we got in that locker room.
What stadium is the hardest one in the CFL to play in? And was there a particular defender that you had? There was somebody that always would give you a hard time, like a defender on another team.
The hardest stadium, that's a tough one. They get most of these stadiums get pretty loud, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Saskatchewan. Winnipeg's good too. Even Calgary was pretty good as well. Hamilton's always just crazy. So
Oh yeah.
that's the dilemma I got. But with DB wise, defender, everyone is just good. You know what I mean? And like, I can't really pick one, but coaches, our coaching staff, they just do a great job of putting us in a position to succeed. And that, if that means like moving us around, then so be it. He'll find the soft spot or the soft zone in the defense, move us around, and find different ways to get us the ball. So we got some. There's some good DBs on every single team. So it's always a tough matchup. I'll tell you that for sure, for every single team.
Who's the biggest trash talker on the Argonauts in the CFL that you've come against so far?
Who's the biggest trash talker?
Yeah.
On our team or on other teams?
Yeah, on the Argos or on another team as well.
I feel like I don't. That's a tough one. I don't know. In fact, every team's got its talkers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And for us, it's like we're pretty calm until you kind of like piss us off. So it could be anybody, to be honest, on our team. So it all depends on like who they piss off, and So it can get rowdy versus any team for us. We know because we got each other's backs, and nobody can. We don't let anybody try to mess with us.
And I was gonna say, if you have another minute, what is a daily week practice like before a game with the Argonauts? And just quick thoughts on head coach Ryan Dinwiddie and the coaching staff, and or how approachable are they to you guys as players?
What is the daily week practice like before?
Okay.
So we have a day one. Day one we'll just do installs. We'll practice. Day two was more like day ones, or I can't remember if it's 1st and 10. Oh, no, yeah, it's usually like Yeah, first and 10, first and 10, first and 5, like short game stuff, and day twos are the long, second and long or first and long type concepts, and day three is usually like a red zone, green zone, and day fours are walkthroughs. Practice usually about like an hour and a half to hour and 45, depending on the day and whatnot. But yeah, thoughts on Coach Dinwiddie. I love Coach Dinwiddie. He's a cool guy. He loves football, and I'm here to play football, and he's here to coach football, so we get along. But ever since he's been our head coach in Toronto, he just it's like we're or like a match made in heaven type stuff. You know what I mean? So he's gotten my game up a lot more than anybody else. And he just, he knows the game and he loves the game, and I love the game as well. Our receiving coach, Pete Casanzo, I don't know if I said that right, but Coach Pete, he's super. Like I love Coach Pete. He's just a really good receiving coach. He was a really good guy. He's a great coach. He just knows how to, talk to his players, because all of us are different, right? And he's so approachable, and he just knows how to critique you in a way, like in a positive way. And I got nothing bad to say about him, because he's raised my level of game, by just his understanding of the game, and just his just the way I can approach him. And he's just he's like one of us, you know what I mean? He's one of the players. And yeah, and the whole coaching staff, decent coach. Like those guys are just, those guys work their tail offs, and we all try to be the best individual person that we can be, which helps us be the best team that we can be as well. So
I was going to say, not just the teaching aspect of it, is the communication with you guys. And one other thing too, it's nice to see stability with the Argonauts franchise, because I know there was a few years there was GM changes, coaches changes, and it's just nice to see Pinball in there and Ryan Dinwiddie in there, Corey Mace, Pete Conzanzo. Just it's nice to have stability with the franchise as well, and winning helps as well.
exactly, yeah, winning does help. So those guys, they know what they're doing, and then we're just here, do our jobs. We follow them. They're great leaders, and we're all here for one goal, and that's to win a championship. And right now, we're heading in the right direction, and we're going to continue doing the things that we do on a daily basis in order to keep us being successful, and going to keep doing those little things. And at the end of the day, we're just we're on it. We're all in it for one goal, and we see the vision. So, which is great.
Are you guys gonna, as a team, gonna get together on Sunday and watch those games?
Yeah, we are. We have like a little like not potluck, but just a little like where we all come in. We can bring our families there. We can we'll eat, watch the game, and just have a chill day, just watching who we're about to face, and from that we just get ready to go to work the following week.
Are you an NFL fan? Before I wrap this up, you have an NFL and college team you like
Yeah,
in the States?
I do love the NFL though. I do love the NFL. I actually I started watching the NFL before watching the CFL.
Wow. Wow. Who's your favorite team? Favorite player?
My favorite team is
It's got to be the Eagles.
it's the Cowboys. I'm sorry.
Dallas Cowboys. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm an Eagles fan, but you know what? You seem like a good guy anyways.
yeah. Just because Des Bryant was my favorite player, right? Just I loved him as a receiver. Just loved him, his passion, just the way he played the game. I loved Antonio Brown as well too when he was on the Steelers. I was a big fan of his game, and I also loved the RG3 as well too when he was on Washington. So I was always been in that the NFC East division. So, but right now I'm just staying with the Cowboys just because.
Okay. Go Birds, go Birds. But I was going to say, there is one player on the Cowboys I respect the hell out of, and that's Micah Parsons. This guy is I shouldn't say the word freak, but he's a special talent as a linebacker.
He is. He's got a motor that just
Oh,
keeps going.
yes.
You know what I mean? Like his motor is just like goals, and he loves the game of football. You know what I mean? You can tell just
Yes.
by the way he plays. It's just passion, and that's if like I just told you my favorite players, and they play the game with passion, and that's just the way I try to mimic my game. It's just like I work, but I love this game, and you know what I mean. I'm here to show my passion and show why I love this game. So those guys are awesome.
And that's what I try to do with my podcast show as well. I really enjoy doing this and talking to my guests and learning from my guests all the time as well.
100%, and that's the way it's supposed to be, right? You gotta love what you do, right?
Absolutely. And I was going to say, I'm going to wrap this up, but what would you say to fans that haven't been to a game this year at BMO Field, and why they should come down for the East Final on November 13th? And where can my audience follow you on social media and your website as well? I was just checking out.
Okay, no worries. Why fans should come to see us play? Well, because we got a pretty damn good football team, and you will see the way we play on the field. We play for the fans, we play for each other, and you're just gonna love everything about the Argonauts. You know what I mean? So what was it? What was the second question?
The other question, just one second. Where can my audience find you on social media and your website as well?
Well, yeah, they can follow me on Instagram. It's my username is Kurleigh.Jr. So it's spelled Kurleigh and then .jr. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm not as active on Twitter, which I'm gonna start being a little bit more active. But it's just Kurleigh G. That's my Twitter handle, and that's pretty much it. And you can also search up my my KG2 gear at kg2.shop. You'll find some sweaters, some t-shirts, some hoodies. There's more stuff going to be added as we go into Christmas and whatnot. I didn't want to kind of overwhelm you guys with a whole bunch of gear. But it's pretty much my KG2 line is pretty much just like keep going, just because in life, regardless of what you're going through, you got to just keep going. You got to trust the process. You got to believe in the process. You got to believe in yourself. And you gotta, when you tell yourself, I'm gonna keep going, you gotta really just believe it, and that everything will work out the way it's supposed to.
Great advice. And like I said, I'm trying to get into radio at 50, and you said that exactly perfect, Curly. And I was gonna say I'm looking forward to coming down to BMO Field on the 13th. I'm hoping one day I can meet you after a game and after a victory, and just to say hello to you and stuff like that. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on. And I'm sorry if I kept you more than half an hour, but I really enjoyed talking to you and hearing your stories about Laurier and now with the Argonauts.
Oh, no worries, anytime, man. This was fun, and you're good at what you do, so keep doing it. And we'll definitely get a picture after the 13th. If you stick around, we'll definitely get a picture.
And
So
it's going to be a win. It's going to be a win, and that's how I look at it. And I'm really pumped for it. And after I'm done with you on my podcast today, I'm going to be getting myself an Argonauts hat and one of those double blue hoodies. So I'll be
yeah,
making sure I'm wearing the double blue. That's my favorite color, by the way. That exactly. And I'll have to look at getting one of your hoodies
yeah,
as well.
yeah. No, this is my favorite color as well. That little baby blue. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
too bright, but it's not too too like it's been in the wash for too long. You know what I mean? It's just like just right. So
Definitely. But I was going to say, again, thank you so much for coming on, Curly, and congratulations on an outstanding season. And I'm already getting pumped up for November 13th at BMO Field. And I'm going to try to get down there with my nephew by about 10:30 in the morning so he can see some of the tailgating and get into the stadium and watch the pregame warm-ups as well.
nice. Yeah, we'll definitely see you down there. And thank you for having me, man. This was awesome. It was great. And
Well, Well, thank you for coming on. If you can give me about 15 minutes, I will have this downloaded to audio platforms, and I'll send you a link of it as well.
perfect. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. And Mike Hogan, I think, went to Laurier as well.
Did
Mike
he?
Hogan I think so, and he used to call the games on 570 News in Kitchener as well. So Mike Hogan's an Eagles fan, by the way, and he's one of the good guys too.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's good though.
Absolutely. All right, Curly, I'm going to let you go so you can get prepared for tomorrow and have a great weekend of practice. And I got to say this to you anyways. Go Birds, go Eagles, go.
You have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.
You too, Curly. Thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast today, season 4, episode 46, with Kurleigh Gittens Jr. from the Toronto Argonauts. He had an outstanding year this year, 81 catches for 1,111 yards, 5 touchdowns, one for 70 yards, and a 13.6 yards per average catch. So he's been an outstanding addition to the Argonauts since they drafted him in 2019 from the Laurier Golden Hawks. And he's also a Yates Cup champion with Laurier in 2016 when they came back from 24 points against the Western Mustangs. And Laurier plays the Western Mustangs 1 o'clock this Saturday at I think TD Health Stadium in London as well. But I want to say again, thank you to Kurleigh Gittens Jr. for coming on. And the Toronto Argonauts franchise has been so great with me. Mike Hogan, Chris Belinovich, and the entire Argonauts organization as well. And you guys can check out his website, kg2.shop. So the website for Kurleigh Gittens Jr. is right there on my page, and you guys can follow him on Instagram and on Twitter at Kurleigh G as well. And if you guys want to come down to the East Final, which is Sunday, November 13th at 1 o'clock at BMO Field, game will be on TSN and also on the radio was 1050. TSN 1050 was Mike Hogan. Check out the Argonauts.ca and you can get some tickets for that game at BMO Field. I'm hoping the Argos can get at least 18 to 20,000 or even more for the East Final against either Hamilton or Montreal. It's going to be a very good game, regardless who wins between Hamilton and Montreal this weekend. I have Montreal winning over Hamilton, and in the West semifinals, I have Nathan Rourke and the Lions beating Calgary. But in the CFL, it's a new season in the playoffs. Everybody's 0-0, so anything can happen. But I'm really pumped up about the this Argonauts team. And again, I really appreciate Kurleigh Gittens Jr. coming on and giving me an hour of his time to talk his career with Laurier and with the Argonauts as well. And even though Curleigh's a Dallas Cowboys fan, I will be cheering for him on Sunday as well. So check out Argonauts.ca if you guys would like to purchase tickets for an Argos game against in the East Final. And I'm taking my nephew to this game as well. And guys, if you don't like driving down to Toronto or paying their parking prices, you guys can also take the GO train in from Aldershot and Burlington. What I do is I get a $10 weekend pass, and I can go on the GO train and down to the BMO Field. It takes you right down to the exhibition grounds for $10 only as well. So, but yeah, like I said, we're looking forward to the games. Hamilton, Montreal at 1 o'clock from Montreal on Sunday, and then 4:30 Calgary at BC. Both games will be on TSN, and the Grey Cup will be the week after, I believe, Sunday, November 20th at 6:30 from Saskatchewan's Mosaic Stadium as well. I'm really looking forward to that as well. And before I wrap up the show, guys, I'm just going to let you know who my next podcast show's with. Just bear with me here, and I will put this on right here. Okay, the next live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Friday, November 4th at 2:30 p.m. My guest will be Rod Peterson, the former longtime radio voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders for 20 seasons, and he's now the host of his own daily podcast show called The Rod Peterson Show. So I'm looking forward to speaking to Rod about his Hall of Fame broadcasting career in Saskatchewan and about his 20 years as the voice of the Roughriders, and also talk to him about the CFL, some changes with the CFL's Saskatchewan Roughriders recently, and also what he thinks of the CFL playoff system, and also talk a little NHL with Rod as well. So season 4, episode 47, this Friday, tomorrow at 2:30 with Rod Peterson, again, former longtime voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the host of his own daily podcast show, The Rod Peterson Show. Check that out. You can check it out on YouTube and all social media pages, Rod Peterson Show as well. I'm looking forward to that. And before we wrap this up, guys, like I do with all my podcast shows, Live with CDP podcast, the audio version is now on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In. So I'm now on, I believe, 14 audio platforms and 3 live audio platforms. So Live with CDP Sports Talk is now on 17 platforms as well. And again, I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall, for sponsoring Live with CDP Sports Talk. You guys check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles. And again, the new all-electric Cadillac Lyric and the all-electric Silverado are now both available for pre-orders at barrycullen.com, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. And check out Nathan Laud at Barry Cullen if you want to pop in there at 905 Woodlawn Road West, and tell him that CDP Chris Palme sent you as well. But special thanks to Mark Cullen for Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring my podcast show as well. And that's about it, guys. Before we go, I'm just going to show you a little clip of a game from 2 weeks ago with the Argos and the Alouettes from Montreal, and a nice TD reception for my guest today, Kurleigh Gittens Jr.
Touchdown, Golden.
That clip was courtesy of TSN as well. So again, Kurleigh Gittens Jr. had an outstanding year, 81 catches, 1,101 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. And I hope you guys can go out and support the Argonauts on Sunday, November 13th at 1 o'clock at BMO Field in Toronto. Beautiful BMO Field. And you guys can get your tickets at argonauts.ca as well. And I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, guys, that's it for season 4, episode 46 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Again, Kurleigh Gittens Jr. for coming on. And thank you to everyone watching this live on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you already haven't. And thank you to those watching on Facebook Live and on Twitter as well. And just give me about 5-10 minutes, and I'll have this podcast downloaded to my audio platforms as well. I hope everybody has a great day. And I'm looking forward to the World Series tonight, Game 5, Astros-Phillies, series tied 2-2. And I'm also looking forward to Thursday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles, fly, go Birds, 7-0, taking on those Houston Texans, 5-1. So it could be a very good night for Philadelphia sports fans if the Phillies and the Eagles both win as well. And I'm just looking forward to a great game tonight from the Phillies and Astros at Citizens Bank Park, and also the Eagles-Texans game in Houston as well. So hopefully the Eagles can go 8-0 as well. But again, and thank you to Lori Bursey for coming on my podcast show and asking Kurleigh a question as well. And again, thanks to everybody watching this live or later on YouTube or on my audio platform. So again, thank you everybody for coming on to Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, Friday, November 4th at about 2:30 Eastern with my guest, Rod Peterson. Have a great evening, everybody, and enjoy the World Series and the Thursday Night Football between the Eagles and Texans. Go Birds.